Okay, good morning, welcome to today's vlog. I'm on the side of the central reservation, being careful, but today's all about Heineken and Red Bull. And got a nice picture of Max Verstappen. So this way, the route I normally do every Sunday on my long runs, is the way to the Zandvoort circuit, which is going to be the Formula 1 place next week. And I'm just focusing on picking up Red Bull and Heineken, sort of two of the big sponsors around Formula 1 and the racing drivers. So let's get cracking. I'm being chased by a wasp. I'm being chased by a wasp. Ah. One bag done, and it's all just Red Bull and Heineken. So the question is, who's going to have the most trash items? So is it going to be Red Bull or Heineken that I pick up the most of? Leave a comment below before I get to the answer at the end. So there it is, that's the Formula 1 circuit in Zandvoort. I'm one of the lookout places now where you can just sort of see the beautiful areas surrounding. So there's also a mountain bike route around the outside of the track, but yeah, it's a pretty cool location. All Red Bull, all Heineken. Okay, the amount they invest in marketing from Red Bull and Heineken for this is colossal. But let's see how far I have to walk to actually pick up a Red Bull can that's been thrown as litter. Oh, hang on, let's start back there. Let's do steps. I'm gonna do big steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 steps from the advertising board.
We help with the beach cleanup tour, and we do that.
Oh, with Dan Strang, and
yeah.
so yeah.
But
anyway, hopefully you can bring it back. Thank you. Okay, Max, you and I need to have a word. I have to do that again now. Okay, Max, you and I need to have a word. Let's go over here. So hang on, let's stop there. I was just rambling on. Let's actually get a little bit more focused. So I'm filming this a couple of days later, but I'm doing the same route and I'm picking up all the other trash, including some fresh Heineken and Red Bull cans that I found. So all of this has come out of just a 1 kilometer central reservation piece that's going towards the beach and the Formula 1 circuit. So hopefully it's going to be a little bit tidier for the Formula 1 this weekend. Anyway, I'm going to put this in the bin and then I'll chat to you about what I really wanted to talk about. Okay, I've got a beautiful spot here. I'm just sitting at the visitor centre by Adved, so what a great location. They've really sort of done well in sort of making this nice. Anyway, I'm distracting. I just want to be a little bit more focused on what I say, so I've got some notes here that I'm just going to use so that hopefully it's going to be a little bit shorter and more concise. So The first thing I want to say before I get into the discussion about this whole Heineken Red Bull experiment that I've just done is the fact that last year during the Formula One, so this time last year, quite a few people I know were doing cleanups during the Formula One weekend, and everyone said it was incredibly clean. So I want to be a huge shout out to all the spectators, all the people that were involved in it, because last year it was amazingly clean. There wasn't much to pick up. The problem I've got is that that was just one weekend in a year, and I'm doing daily cleanups along this area and I'm picking up so much trash. So I want to talk about those other 51 weeks in the year. And I also want to talk about the fact that I focused on two brands. So I focused on Heineken and Red Bull. And now I've done that because they are sort of the key sponsors around the Formula One weekend that's coming up. So Heineken is one of the main sponsors for the Formula One tour. So not just in the Netherlands, but they also sponsor the Dutch Grand Prix especially. And you've got Red Bull. They don't sponsor the Dutch Grand Prix, but they are so prevalent and dominant in sponsoring. You can see that in all of the billboards around here. They're really, and understandably, sort of making the most of Max Verstappen, sort of the driver that runs with Red Bull team. So I wanted to say about these two brands, I've focused on them, but they are not the only offenders here. Yes, they are such a dominant force just because of numbers, but we mustn't forget the likes of, at the Olympics, you've got brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's, and of course you've got all of the little brands. So with Red Bull is so dominant here with energy drinks, but you've got all of the other energy drinks that are going on. So don't think I'm just calling out these two brands. I am calling them out because they hit the numbers. And that's the point. If we can change the behavior of the customers of these two brands, the percentage of behavior change that we can do across the world is huge. So it makes sense to me to target these huge brands. They are investing so much money, and to put it in perspective, Heineken spent something like 220 million. I'm not even going to bother saying whether it's dollars, euros, pounds, or whatever. As soon as you get into 220 million, you're talking about astronomical numbers. And I don't even want to think about how much Red Bull sort of pay out in terms of just the racing team. So they spend an astronomical amount of money. And what I'm proposing in this video is a small slither of that. But anyway, so it's not against the brands. I want to make that really clear. In fact, I want to work with them, and that's the whole point of this video. So what is it exactly I want to do in this? Well, I want to call out these two brands and all the other brands and say, you need to invest. You need to invest in behavior change of your customers. That is the problem. You can have governments creating legislation, bringing in things like the deposit system. So we're getting the can deposit system coming into the Netherlands this year, at the end of this year and the beginning of next year. That is not the solution. Companies that are providing drinks in cans should not rely on that as a solution. We need to change behaviours, and to put an example of that, yes, we've got rid of plastic spoons, or while stocks are still out there, we still see plastic spoons, but plastic spoons are on the way out. Instead, I find bamboo spoons on the ground now, and that's what we need to change. We need to change those behaviours. Just recycling it or encouraging people with a deposit system helps, but it is not the only thing we need to be doing. So these companies need to invest in changing their consumers' behaviors so they don't drop it on the ground, so they take responsibility for their actions, so that they take it willingly to a recycle place. If, for instance, they drop a can on the ground, they don't think, oh, it's only €1, I'll just carry on. They'll actually go back, pick it up, and then if they don't want to drink it, fair enough, but put it in a recycling bin. So I want to change behaviours, and that's where the responsibility of the companies need to come in. And the thing, going back to the money, the incredible amount of money they're spending it, they've got amazing, talented teams that are creating these awesome marketing strategy campaigns. They've got the skill set, they've got the money to actually help change the behaviours of their customers. They've got that responsibility to do it. And I want to work with Heineken, I want to work with Red Bull, I want to work with all of these brands, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. I'd love to work with these companies and actually help them drive those behaviours. And so let's just focus on how they can do that if they invest. Well, one thing they can do, and you see a lot of people are doing it, is they help sort of sponsoring cleanups. That is great, but I want to put an analogy on here with natural disasters like drought and famine. What happens in those? Yes, you provide resources, you provide aid to help them get over that problem. But you also have got to work on the infrastructure. You've got to get it so that it doesn't happen again. Or if it does happen, they're more prepared. And so just sponsoring some cleanups is not the solution. It is not the way to do it. All you're doing is just cleaning up a problem that exists already. It's reactive. We need to be proactive, work on the infrastructure. So how can we do that? So here's my proposal. Red Bull, Heineken, pay me a year's salary. Give me a year's salary, and then let's see what we can do together. We can work together. I can take a year off work and I can go and just focus on trying to bring education and just do this full time. Think of what I could do instead of doing this as in my spare time like I'm doing at the moment. So why not invest in that? Do that for a year. If it works, pay me next year. Keep it going. Or maybe you think, this is really positive. We're working on building a different branch of awareness, of positive change and trying to encourage behaviours, not just doing cleanups, which are awesome, but we need to look at that infrastructure like you do with natural disasters. And then maybe you kind of go, this is really working. It worked for the year, let's try and do it in a different country. Let's find some other people in different countries and help subsidise them so they can do this full time. Brands are the ones that need to do this. They're the ones with the profits. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm going to be completely honest. I'd love to do this full time. How can I get money from this? Well, I could set up a Patreon, for instance, but then all I'm doing is getting other people like me to give me money. I want to get money out of the companies. And if you think, going back to that 220 million, if you just pay me half of my year's salary and then Red Bull pay the other half of Heineken, if you just do that, it's such a small percentage. What's the impact? Try it for a year. Anyway, that's what I just wanted to talk about, and hopefully it makes sense. So come on, Red Bull, Heineken, give me some money. But let's get back to what I was doing. So I was just trying to see who's going to get the most cans that I pick up along my route. One thing to call out, so what you can see here in the final results is perhaps you kind of go, oh yeah, but that's only like a handful of cans or things. That's true. But a lot of that route is the route I cleaned up the week before. So a lot of this is fresh trash. And this is every week that I'm doing that. Now think about that. That is just one route outside of town, just on a simple bike path to the beach and sort of back. Think about how many cans are on the ground in the city centres around the world. Don't think of this as being 100 cans. Think of this as being 100 cans in a tiny, tiny part of a tiny country. Think of it that way, and that is the issue that we face. So let's get back. Leave a comment below before we get to the results to see who gets the most cans. Either way, it's actually sort of more interesting than I thought, the way that it panned out. So let's go and see who wins. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Speak to you next week. Next week I've got a really awesome one, so subscribe. You're going to love it. Oh! Bingo! I swear that was just perfect timing. Okay, so it was a pretty unanimous win for Red Bull. But that's just 2 brands I've picked up on my 24k run around an area that is not a sort of heavily populated town. A lot of it was just countryside. It's shocking. It's shocking. Yeah, come on Red Bull, Heineken, just give me a salary and let's make an impact together.